YouTube channel. My name's James Black and I'm joined again by Cameron Willis, and we're going to have a wee look ahead to Thursday night's Europa League playoff clash between Rangers and Galatasaray. The Turkish Giants are a team that kind of most people will be fairly familiar with their name, but they've kind of fallen away from prominence a little bit in recent years. So just kind of if you're not too kind of clued up on them, we've done a wee bit of digging on them just to keep you up to date. So they're founded back in 1905 in Istanbul, and have gone on to establish themselves as the most successful club in Turkey. They've won 22 Turkish League titles, 18 Turkish Cups and 16 Turkish Super Cups, as well as a UEFA Super Cup, with Rangers star Yanis Hadji's dad, Georgie, as a major driving force, as well as a UEFA Super Cup. They play at the 52,000 capacity Ali Sami Yen Sport Complex, originally named after the club's founder and now known as the Turk Telecom Stadium. It generates a really ferocious atmosphere, which fans in Turkey refer to as hell, and there's the famous things with Graham Souness and banners and whatnot with Galatasaray. Of course, we will not get to experience it. It's a single-legged game at Ibrox on Thursday night. So it'll be an empty Ibrox, one night only. Winner takes all and goes into the group stages. Now, Cammy, you've been doing a bit more digging on Galatasaray. Can you tell us a wee bit more about their strengths and weaknesses?
Yeah, well, it's interesting because, like you say, they're not as kind of big a name as they used to be. They're obviously still a massive club, but by and large, they seem to be. It's kind of split into the squad. They've got lots of high-profile names that are getting on a little bit, and then young kind of Turkish players that are kind of closely associated with the club. I think that's a kind of theme that they've followed. In the last kind of 2 decades nearly. But it's interesting. The manager is like kind of maybe the Galatasaray equivalent of Walter Smith. Although Walter Smith didn't play for Rangers, obviously Fatih Terim is his name. He played for Galatasaray in the 70s and 80s. He's been their manager 4 times. He's a kind of old school stubborn manager. His teams are like kind of fall into that category as well. They're kind of difficult to beat, hard to beat. I think that's the way that he's going to try and set up. They're an experienced team with a lot of players with technical ability. I know we'll go into more depth about the kind of players that they have in their team, but I imagine they'll be robust. They'll be difficult to beat. They play with 2 big, powerful centre halves. They've not got a lot of pace, a lot of energy. They do have a few injuries as well. But I think they're going to be really hard to beat. And I think if Rangers are to get on top of them, I think that we'll need to get into their faces and press them. They play like a 4-1-4-1. From what I can tell, it's really difficult to get footage off of YouTube and stuff, I think, with licensing laws. But they play a 4-1-4-1, which kind of turns into a 4-3-3 when they're going forward. The focal point is obviously Colombian striker Falcao. And they've got like Younes Bohanda, Ryan Babel, who used to play for Liverpool alongside Steven Gerrard. Sofiane Feghouli, I think a few fans used to play for West Ham, I think it was. So I know that and also they've got Arda Turan, who was a summer signing. I think that he's maybe a difference maker for them because between 2017 and 2019, Terim actually guided them to 2 Super League titles, but they lost the title last season, actually finished 6th. And they've been absolutely rancid since January. But part of the reason why is because Istanbul Başakşehir, I think that's how you pronounce it, they won the league, but they had Arda Turan, their team, on loan from Barcelona, and his contract's expired and he's now joined Galatasaray. He's obviously a major player. So the signing of him's given them a wee bit of an advantage in Turkey. They've started the season well. They're unbeaten in 3. They drew 0-0 with Fenerbahce at the weekend, and I think it's going to be a tough game for Rangers. I think everybody at Rangers is aware of that. But what they perhaps have in experience, we kind of have in energy. And if we press them, I think we can get at them.
I mean, we all kind of became aware of Galatasaray a wee bit more again when we were drawn against them. Was that them or Hajduk Split? Is that their only game in Europe this season so far? Or did they come in around earlier?
They came in around earlier. They played the Azerbaijani team, I think, how do you pronounce it? Neftchi. They beat them 3-1. They then went on to play Gaziantep in Turkey, beat them 3-1. They then beat Istanbul Başakşehir, who are the reigning champions. They beat them 2-0 away from home. Then they beat Hajduk Split 2-0. Am I right? Is it 2? I think it was 2-0, yeah. And then they drew with Fenerbahce at the weekend, so they're coming into this with opening the season with 4 wins and 1 draw. So, whilst obviously they're not as big a name and they've been out of form from last season, I think that they pose a real threat. I think that they've got really good technical players. I don't think it's going to be easy, but if Rangers are at it, then we can get at them. But maybe the crowd will be a big loss as well. I think that if you give them the opportunity to settle into a rhythm, control the ball, they've got the players that can hurt us. And whilst maybe those players, there's been a lot of complaints saying that they're maybe overpaid and they haven't got the same level of commitment to the club as some of the other Turkish stars, they've still got the ability. Do you know what I mean? And they can still turn it on. So I think they're a dangerous side. I don't think we can write them off, even if they've not got the kind of names of yore.
We go into this game in really good form as well on the back of the 5-1 win over Motherwell at the weekend. Do you think it's going to be one of these games where Rangers are going to sit back and let Galatasaray come onto them, or do you think it's kind of ball to the wall and Rangers are going to go and take the game to Galatasaray and kind of just go for the kill?
I think it'll be the latter. I don't think it'll be completely gung-ho. I think it'll be responsible, but I think you'll see that game with Rangers. I mean, because they might be playing deep, you might not see like the 2 wing-backs flying forward to the byline. Maybe they'll do it. It's interesting what Steven Gerrard said after Motherwell. He spoke about what they'd asked the wing-backs to do was to kind of come into the middle of the pitch and engage with midfielders. I think you might see that again. But I expect Rangers to play the way that Rangers play under Steven Gerrard, and that's try to impose themselves in the game, win the ball high up, control possession, and take chances. I think that is how we're going to play. And I think on the opposite of that, I think maybe Galatasaray will try and stifle that. I think that they'll come to frustrate us. I think that they've got the experience in their squad that if we let them, I think they could. But I fancy us. I think you've always got to fancy us at home in Europe. I'm absolutely buzzing that we're playing them. I wish we could go. Do you know what I mean? I think that's the saddest thing about the entire thing is obviously they've got huge prestige and stuff, but the atmosphere would be unbelievable. I think the entire time that Steven Gerrard's been manager, that's been part of the best thing about the ride. You know, obviously we haven't won any silverware or anything, but these European matches have been absolutely incredible. They've been monumental. I mean, some of the best games I've ever been to. You know what I mean? And I imagine this one would have been the same. So that's a real stickler not being able to go. But I still think we can do it. I don't know. I think it's a few people saying we've got like enough in the bank in Europe, and obviously with regards to kind of how important the season is. But I mean, the money that it brings in would be central. It would be a huge achievement if we got there 3 years in a row. I'd love us to go through, but I mean, let's just go there and get our best shot. I think we will.
That was something just for you mentioning the money aspect of it. It was something I wanted to ask you about. Now, we've seen that if Rangers win, it would take a big step towards securing an automatic group stage place in the Champions League for 2022-23. Do you think that's something that's kind of been mentioned at the club and kind of been thought about? That there's, I mean, 2 years is a long time in football, but it's a hell of a carrot, no?
Oh, absolutely. Whether or not, I mean, it might be. I think they'll be aware of it, but I don't think it'll be a major kind of driving force. I think obviously the lure of getting into Europa League this season and the potential finances that come from it, maybe it'll even help finance another player coming into the club. So I think in the short term will be the bigger carrot, but I think that is definitely a huge. I think Fatih Terim was talking about it in the build up. He says that he was going to. He's going to be playing for Turkey and not just Galatasaray, because obviously they'll just win ahead and they've got an automatic spot. So it's certainly there. It's definitely in the discussion. It's been public in the Turkish side. I imagine they've been speaking about it in the Rangers side, but I think the short term success of getting into Europe this season is probably bigger.
I mean, if we do get through to the group stages again for a third successive season, does it become one of the ones now where you look at it and go, well, we've achieved our goals, let's just see what happens? Or do you start going, well, we made the last 16 last season, why can't we go one better?
I mean, I'd love that. It just depends on the draw. That's it, and it just depends who you get in the group stage. I mean, we said that last season. We got a difficult draw last year, and we done really well. So, I mean, I think still at this stage for Rangers, I mean, you've got to say it would be a bonus if we got past the group stage. Obviously, we have to get there first, and Galatasaray is going to be a really tough game. But if we got there, I think anything beyond the group stage is a bonus. I think the club financially probably view it that way as well. I think that the biggest thing is getting the money for just getting to the group stage. But it'd be amazing if we could go on another run. I think it's been absolutely incredible what we've managed to achieve in Europe over the last 2 seasons. I think it's probably the biggest achievement of Steven Gerrard's tenure. Even absolutely dumping Willem II. I mean, it was interesting because we spoke about them last week, kind of spoke them up, and I think we were right to, and I think that they showed flashes of that, and obviously Alan McGregor in a huge shift. But it's a big contrast because that team we played last week on Thursday had no European experience. You know what I mean? It was like the first time that we were playing them. This team that we're playing on Thursday are full of individuals. I mean, I think Falcao is the highest scorer in Europa League / UEFA Cup history. If I'm not mistaken. Yes. So that's the level of player that we're playing against, and that's the level of experience that we're coming up against. It's going to be a completely different test. But I think that I think group stage is a major achievement. If we get there, I think anything beyond that's a bonus.
Speaking of Falcao, obviously his compatriot Mr. Alfredo Morelos is 1 goal away from equaling Ali McCoist's all-time European record. Now he didn't equal it on McCoist's birthday last week in Holland. Can he do it against his idol this week?
That'd be great. Maybe it's meant to be.
The scene's set for it, surely, no?
Out with the old, in with the new kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like Falcao coming to the end of his career and Morelos coming into it. And I think that the Colombian manager was talking about him potentially being their future number 9. So maybe it was meant to be. It'd be great to see him score. I mean, he got the goal against Legia last time around. So he's done it before, and he's scored in the playoff where it was realistically a one-off game, although obviously it could have went to away goals, but it was 0-0 in the first leg against Legia, and he got that last-minute winner. So hopefully, I mean, he's a man for it, isn't he? So let's see.
Now, the money's another aspect that you've mentioned. Do you think Rangers have got a big advantage in this game now that it's the single leg at Ibrox rather than having to go over to Istanbul with 52,000 screaming Turks? Because it's not an easy place to go at the best of times. Going over there, when you go over there for a second leg in a playoff with a lot at stake, I mean, it's not just Rangers getting to the group stages, it's the coefficient side of things in the Champions League. So
I think it's the same of Ibrox as well. Do you know what I mean? So I think whilst obviously that, I mean, it'd be amazing. Imagine going over there, Istanbul. I mean, I actually went to Istanbul in February this year. I went to a Besiktas game. It was mental, and it would be incredible. It would be an amazing experience, and I think our players would relish it. I mean, that's why they're playing football, to go and play in these amazing atmospheres and stuff. And I think it just takes a shine off everything. And I think by the same token, whilst it might be a bonus for us that we're at home and we don't have to go to that atmosphere. We don't even have to travel, even though we're playing behind closed doors. I think the Galatasaray players will probably be counting their blessings they're not playing in front of a packed Ibrox either, because it would make it so much more difficult for them, and it gives us 10%. So I think just having no fans just kind of puts a wee damper on the whole thing, because it would be such an occasion. Because obviously the two clubs have got kind of links. They might be a wee bit tenuous, but there's a couple of links between Rangers and.
Just the next thing I wanted to come to, we've not played Galatasaray in 20 years, if I remember right. I think it's 2000 in the Champions League. But just kind of, has there been other meetings between the sides, and kind of what length is it that you're?
I don't know if there's been any other meetings. I don't think there has been. I don't think there has been. I think that was the only one. I think I was only 8 years old. Can you remember it?
Oh yeah, I remember it.
We got beat 3-2 away from home. I was only 8, so I can't remember it. But Hadji never played either. Georgia Hadji. He played the home game against Rangers at Ibrox. That was 0-0, but he never played in Istanbul.
Yeah.
So I mean that's probably the main one. You know what I mean? The Yanis Hadji, Georgia Hadji thing. I think that's obvious one. Thing is, I was speaking to Jordan about this yesterday, and I had seen some quotes and stuff, and I thought maybe that's because Hadji kind of responds, you know what I mean, on that stage, and he's played well in Europe before, and maybe putting him in the middle of that might get a big game out of him because of obviously the links to his dad and stuff. George Hadji obviously played there for 5 years. I think he won 5 Super League titles. He won the UEFA Cup. He's very highly regarded by them. But maybe Steven Gerrard won't want the distraction of it. You know, so maybe he won't play. But I don't know. But I think that's the biggest one. I think the next biggest one is obviously Graham Souness, who I was looking this up. This is actually interesting. They call him Ulubatty Souness, right? Because he was a manager there for a season 95-96, and they played Fenerbahce in April. I think they won, and he ran in the middle of the pitch, and he puts the flag down. Everybody's obviously seen that. But the reason why they call him that is because it's in reference to a guy called Ulubatty Hassan, who was killed as he planted the Ottoman flag in the siege of Constantinople, which I thought was quite cool. So it was cool. And then I'm trying to think what else. Like Galatasaray winger Ryan Babel, he's an ex-teammate of Steven Gerrard's. He could play as well. It's another wee link. And is there anything else? Istanbul's obviously where Steven Gerrard lifted that Champions League trophy with Liverpool, inspired them coming from 3-0 down, but it was at the Olympic Stadium, it wasn't at the Galatasaray one.
So on Sunday up on the site, Jordan put up his predicted 11. I'm just going to want to go through it, see if you agree, disagree, and then we'll kind of just get your thoughts on any other changes there should be. He's got Alan McGregor in goals, back four Barisic, Helander, Connor Goldson, James Tavernier, Davis, Arfield and Glenn Kamara in the midfield, and then Hadji, Morelos and Ryan Kent as the kind of front three.
See, we actually spoke about this, Jordan, you were speaking to me. We had the Jones Hadji debate. I think that's maybe the only one that would change, because prior to it, I thought this is a chance for Hadji, etc. And Jordan was putting the case for Jones as well, and we were just having a discussion about it. I think maybe it might come too soon for Jones, considering, but he started on Sunday, he played well, but maybe he won't want the distraction of the Georgia Hadji stuff. So it's hard to tell, but I think that'll be the team, either Hadji or Jones. But if they play deep as well, it might mean that Jones' pace is nullified and stuff, and you need that kind of lock-picking midfielder in Hadji. So I don't know. That's the only kind of one, but I'd say so. Would you not say? Would you say there's much difference?
No, that's the 11 for me. The only other kind of area for any question, in my opinion, would really be the centre back pair. But I'm completely sold on Goldson and Helander. Mm-hmm. For me, it's Helander's jersey to lose, and I don't think Balogun's done anything to deserve to come back into the start 11 for this kind of game. You know, maybe against Ross County on the Friday night. Maybe Sunday now, sorry. But yeah, not for this. It's Goldson Helander all the way for me.
I think so. I think that's why he signed him. You know, the big he signed Helander for these European games and the experience. I mean, Helander's sitting playing against Cristiano Ronaldo in the last international break and stuff. You know, he's trusted in these big games at national level and at European level. So I think that's why he's here. And he's looked good. He looks like he knows what he's doing. So he's another big game player for us, I think, Helander. I'm excited, man. I think it's going to be brilliant. I just wish I was going. You know what I mean? That's the only thing. I just wish we could all be there. Yeah. But it'll be a good contest.
So, I think we put you on the spot. Score prediction?
Oh, right. I think it'll be quite tight. I think it'll be quite tight. I'm going to go 1-0 Rangers. Late goal.
I'm going to go 3-1.
3-1?
3-1.
I'd love it. I'd love it.
Absolutely. That would be a very, very good night. That 3-1-1. Nice wee place in the group stages.
Who do you fancy to score?
To score? I think Morelos will get his goal. Whether he gets more, I don't know. Probably Kent. And then one of the midfield three. I wouldn't be shocked to see Glenn Kamara pop out of nowhere and just kind of grab one. He come close against Motherwell. He's looked that wee bit more attack-minded the last kind of month or so. Might just be a night.
He likes European games as well. He's another big game player for us. You know, we've got loads in the squad now. It's good. So I know, exciting.
Right, well, that's all for this episode. We'll be back with more videos after the game against Galatasaray. Remember to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.